You're watching BCTV, Brantford's community access station.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another Around the Town of Brantford with Henry and Frank. I'm Frank Tuhill, and today's program is about the cleanup and aftermath of the severe thunderstorms and tornado microbursts that went through Brantford on Thursday, August 27th. Now, after Isaiah on August 4th, everybody thought the worst was over, but no. The worst was Thursday, August 27th. A huge storm system came into the area. There was a tornado that landed in Hamden. It went through North Haven. It was on the ground for 11 miles. And then off that tornado, the microbursts with winds of 100 miles an hour came into Brantford and Guilford. Brantford was the hardest town hit in the state. The entire town lost power. Many roads, some 66 roads were closed in Brantford due to down power lines and trees. What you're seeing now is the top of a hemlock tree. It was just twisted right off by the microbursts. I mean, look at the thickness of that trunk, and you can see the wood is nice and green. It's not old wood that's starting to rot, and yet the top of it was torn right off by those microbursts last Thursday. As of today, August 30th, 3 days later, only 5 homes in Brantford are still without power. Anyway, we're going to drive around and show you all the devastation. We're going to show you all the trees that are down, still power lines down. And so stay with us as we tour the town of Brantford for you, around the town of Brantford with Henry and Frank. Stay with us. We're here on Damascus Road, and we're going to show you the devastation in just a moment. It looks like a war zone. And I'm speaking with one of the residents. Her name is Donna. How bad was this storm for you?
It was bad. It was scary. We got the warning through our mobile phone to just find shelter, and we did. We went downstairs. We took our dogs with us. And we heard it. My husband looked out the side window of the basement, and he couldn't believe the huge the pine trees next door. He said, "I think they're gone," and half of them are gone. And after it got quiet, he went upstairs and he said, "You're not going to believe the backyard. All the trees are down and torn apart." It was very strange. None of the buildings got damaged. We were very lucky. We were very lucky.
You were blessed, yeah?
We were blessed. The front of the house, we had trees down. The only thing that really concerned me was there was somebody in a Range Rover who thought he needed to go out for a fun ride. He came down, he went through the barricades on Damascus, he snagged a live wire. We're all screaming at him because he's got a live wire attached to the bottom of his car, came up onto our lawn and proceeded to pull the wire, which pulled a transformer, which started a fire in the road. And you've got to go see that, how much depth that wire actually burned into the road. So we're looking for him. He's around here. We know he is. So I think he had no concern for anybody else's safety, except he wanted a fun ride in his fancy little car that went, I think it goes into the water too. So there are not too many of those around. So
gee, that's a terrible.
We can find him.
A terrible story.
Yeah.
Now,
but I do have to say, Eversource and the tree trimmers that did all this work to clear up, and they worked so hard.
Yeah, they did a good job this time.
They did an awesome job. Yeah. This time, I think they work hard all the time. We're
yes, that's true.
We didn't have 800,000 people out, but they did a great job.
That's right. Now, as far as Damascus Road, it was closed for how long?
It opened up, let's see, it finally opened up, I'm trying to think, Saturday night.
So it was closed for about 36 hours?
Wait a minute, let me think. They went through, I'm going to say Friday night. Yeah. This area was the biggest. We had a real problem here. The trees were entangled in the wires, so they had a big problem. We actually got our power back Friday night about 10 o'clock. So they did a great job. I mean, this was a mess. And a friend of mine lives over on Queech, off of Queech. She got her power back last night, and that whole area looks devastated. They're replacing poles. We went up to make sure she was okay yesterday, and they were actually replacing poles. We've got split poles that they've reinforced, but
they did a good job. There was 400 crews here from Eversource.
Right. It was a caravan. We saw caravans all day.
Yeah.
You know, they were having dinner at 8 o'clock at night, sitting on the side of the road eating their dinner. So
no, they worked throughout the
Absolutely.
night too. You know, and all the town agencies too. The Brantford Police, Brantford Fire,
Absolutely.
Public Works. I mean, they all did a wonderful job. It was
did.
very
We're
well
lucky.
organized by the first selectman, Jamie Cosgrove.
we were lucky, and Jamie kept us informed. He always does a good job. So
Yeah.
we are lucky. Our community is a very lucky community to have the public servants and the first responders here. And they were here. So
Yeah, that's true.
thank you, Brantford.
Well, thanks for speaking with us.
Okay, you're welcome.
I'm on Damascus Road, and we've been speaking with Donna. Now we're going to show you more of the damage, the aftermath of the tornado that hit Brantford. Stay with us. Okay, we're here on Damascus Road. It was closed to traffic for about 36 hours. You're looking at some of the trees up there. You can see the tops were just snapped off. At the time that the governor spoke to the town on Friday at the town hall steps, he said that this storm was so bad that the tree tops were shorn off, but he said that the poles that hold all the utility lines, he said, were snapped off in places in Brantford. So it was a really strong, very horrific storm with very high winds. And we also had some rain this time, and so that could have caused some extra damage. As you recall, a couple of weeks ago, when we had Tropical Storm Isaiah, it was dry. There was no rain, but there was rain this time, and you can see all the extra damage. So this is Damascus Road that we're looking at. As we said before, it was closed for some 36 hours. All the town crews, they came through here and they opened up the road. As you can see, all the wood that was cut, and it's all piled up here on the side of the road to be cleaned up. And the whole process now of cleaning up, that'll probably take a couple of weeks. But at least the whole thing is now under control. So we're just about to go to other parts of town, so stay with us. Okay, we're still here on Damascus Road. I'm speaking with Paul. He's a resident on the road. Now, Paul, this tree behind us, what is so significant about this tree?
Well, first of all, this tree's been here since I was a boy. Used to climb it as a boy. And it's been through a number of storms. We've lost a few of these pine trees over the years, but this one always managed to stay in place. But you can see now the top is snapped off. The lower limbs are all twisted and broken. So it's made quite a mess.
At the time this tree was hit by the storm, was the tree in any media?
Yes, there was a couple of local channels were down here, and they did an interview just like you're doing right now, all about this tree and the significance of the twisting of the limbs and so forth.
How about the Hartford Courant?
Yeah, they were here. They were down here. They took numerous pictures. In fact, the governor was down here. He didn't come up this far, but he was down the road just a little farther.
Really?
Where we actually had a fire in the road.
That was from the Range Rover?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I heard that story from your wife.
Yes, we watched that vehicle drag the cable up the street.
Jeez, that was so irresponsible.
In fact, he even drove over our front lawn to get around one of the trees that was down.
I sure hope they catch him.
So do I. I wish I had his marker number.
Now, Paul, at the time the storm hit, you were downstairs in your basement, right?
That's correct. My wife and I got the alarm on her phone, and they said to get under cover immediately. We grabbed both our dogs and ran for the basement.
At the time you were in the basement, what did it sound like?
Well, I was looking out a small window because I was anxious to see what was going on, and there was a lot of howling type noise that I could hear, but the rain was really coming down really heavy.
Yeah.
I could see some of the trees in the yard just swirling and twisting back and forth. And it was scary.
Now, with all the damage here that we can still see, with all the branches on both sides of the road, I mean, this is where the twister must have gone through.
It came through here like, I couldn't believe how quick it was, and it was over in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was definitely scary. I've never been through something like this before. This was terrible.
Well, I mean, right, since you've lived here all your life, this was the worst storm?
Probably, although back in the 50s, I think we had a real terrible hurricane.
Hurricane, yeah.
But other than that, I've never seen this much damage to trees.
How about your house? Was there any damage to your property?
No damage to the house.
How about the trees in the backyard?
My backyard was leveled. That really, there was all maple trees were down. They were stripped.
Let's take a look at them. All right.
Sure.
All right. Let's go to the backyard here of Paul. Okay, we're just about to go into Paul's backyard, but we're here on Damascus again. Paul, this road was what? Completely covered?
This road from where we're standing right now down to where that car is coming up was completely covered. The trees from this side of the road fell right across and completely covered it. You couldn't get through, no matter what you tried. You just couldn't do it. It was completely covered. You couldn't see anything other than the fire that was down the other end of the road.
From the Range Rover?
Yes. But it was completely covered. And
how did they open it up, though? Who came through and opened it?
Well, the electric company came through, and they were following a tree cutting company. And they worked as a team. Mm-hmm. As they were cutting trees, they were putting the wires back up because all the wires were down in the road.
These wires up
These
are
all
big ones.
Down. They were laying in the road.
Well, they did a wonderful job.
They did a great job. I'll tell you. I know they've been jumped on over the last few weeks because they didn't do a good job. But I will tell you,
yeah, from Isaiah.
What I could see
this time
they did a great job,
yeah,
and those guys were here all through the dark that were working, and they just did a great job.
Yeah.
I wish there was more linemen on the crew, though. That's one of the complaints that I know some of the fellows had. There wasn't enough linemen there. There was more fellows that were safety conscious, that were watching the linemen, than there were linemen. Oh. So I know that was one thing that they were very upset about, that they didn't have a big enough crew.
I see. All right, Paul, well, I guess we'll go in your backyard and we'll look at the maples that have been wiped out.
Got it.
Okay, we're in the backyard now. We're going to show you some of the tree damage. So all these trees that have come down, all from that storm?
All of them. All of them. This happens to be my neighbor's yard, Laura Lynch's. She lives here. And this is a tree that's on the boundary of her property and the neighbor's. This came down. In fact, I think I heard this one coming down.
You heard the crash?
When I was in the basement.
In the basement.
This made a lot of noise. This is a pretty good sized tree. It's got probably a 2-foot diameter trunk on it.
Yeah, it's an old one. That's probably 200 years old.
Oh, easy, easy.
Yeah. Now also, there's another house we can see over there. Now, you said the new owner was in there when the storm hit?
The new owner just bought that house about a month ago, and she's having work done on it. And she was there with her contractor in the basement with her young daughter, who was only, I believe, 3 years old. And she heard it coming, and she also got the alarm on her phone, so she headed right for the basement because she's from the west.
Oh, so they're used to the tornadoes.
She's used to tornadoes.
Yeah.
She said the only difference is out there's not as many trees.
Right, it's all open prairie.
It's all open, but she says, in fact, some of them have these safety places they go into, cellars.
Yes.
When she came up, it saw her driveway, which was completely blocked, and she and her contractor couldn't get out. So at that time, all the neighbors were out on the street checking out and seeing how everybody was doing, and we could see that she couldn't get out. In fact, she had a handsaw in her hand, and she was trying to cut some limbs so she could get her car out. So I got my chainsaw out, and within no time at all, we had the driveway opened up so she could get out and get home.
So you mean so even after the storm hit, with Damascus Road covered with branches, you could still drive?
The only place you could drive was from her driveway up towards Windmill Hill.
Oh, she was lucky, huh?
She was lucky. If she was the next house down, she couldn't have gotten out.
Really, isn't that something?
Yes.
Well, it's been great to talk to you, Paul, and to meet you here on Damascus Road. And it's good that, it's good there was no real damage to your house.
No, there wasn't. No damage at all. Just the yard, and it's been a lot of work, though. And I hope the town can pick up all these branches that we're going to be putting out by the street. They're going to have one big, enormous job.
The crews are going to be coming around. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they will be.
Well, hopefully we've got 2 schools on this road, so maybe we'll get some of the first attention.
No, I'm sure you will. All right, thanks for being with us, Paul.
Thank you.
All right, stay with us. We're going to hit another part of town. It's all storm damage you're seeing here on both sides of the road. It's going to take weeks to clean up all this mess, and the town crews, they're going to pick up all the branches. The only thing that they say is that the branches left curbside for pickup by the town crews, they must be less than 8 feet long and up to 8 inches around in diameter. So if your trees or your branches are, like again, under 8 feet long and under 8 inches around, then you can put the wood out, and a Town of Brantford crews will pick up the wood, which is a great service that's being offered to the residents. The other things that you can do in town is there are charging stations available at the Brantford Fire Headquarters and the Town Hall in case you're still out of power. And if you want to get cool, go to the Joe Trapasso Community House, because that's open as a cooling center for Brantford residents. But anyway, this storm was kind of a surprise. I mean, I think we got 12 hours of, they said that, that there was a chance that we were going to get some heavy storms. We're visiting here on Milo Drive. There's a tree that fell right on the property line, right between 2 houses. It doesn't look like there was any damage done, but it's crazy the way this tree actually hit the ground. It was like a perfect fall, Anyway, so this was the hardest hit town in the state, and what happened was there was an approval from the state to have 100 personnel here from the National Guard, and that they were here in Brantford. They were stationed at the Armory, and there were also 2 search and rescue teams here in Brantford and to cover East Haven. Now the storm could have been much worse because there could have been injuries, but there weren't any injuries, so that was at least good. So the storm cleanup is going to take quite a while, and that's the situation here on this road, and we're just about to hit some other parts of town, so stay with us. As we continue our tour around the town of Brantford, we're now on Featherbed Lane. This is one of the 66 roads in Brantford that were closed from this tornado and microburst that hit Brantford. What you're seeing now is the top of a tree. Look at how that one's been ripped off. There's like 5 or 6 trunks, it looks like, a huge clump of trees all growing together, and the tops all ripped off. Supposedly the winds in Brantford reached 100 miles an hour. I was driving during the hurricane, not the hurricane, but the driving during the tornado, and as you drove your car down Route 1, that's where I was, it was so intense that you looked up at the trees and you said, boy, I'd like to know whether that one's coming down or is the next one coming down. It was quite an experience. All right, so let's continue as we continue to cover Brantford. Stay with us. Okay, we're on Applewood Road right now, right by the interstate. And as you can see, this yard is very different after the storm. There's trees all down. I mean, obviously they've been working on it because they can get in and out of their driveway now, but there's quite a lot down. It looks like the house was not damaged though, which is great. You know, some people said that the twisters that were seen in Branford looked like a scene from The Wizard of Oz. It was like a cone touching down. And all of Branford was without power from Thursday at 4 o'clock until Friday morning. And so now, 3 days later, power's been restored to everyone except 5 households are still out. Look at that gigantic root. It's unbelievable. All that force, all that power from that storm. Okay, we're still here on Applewood. As you can see, these piles are left alongside the road for the town's crew to pick them up. And what they're looking for, again, if the branch is less than 8 feet long and thinner than 8 inches around, then it'll be picked up by the town crew. It's a great service being offered to residents by the town of Branford. There was all kinds of Eversource trucks in Branford the last couple days. There was a big staging area for the Eversource crew at the Cherry Hill parking lot. And we saw all this weekend all the people from the National Guard. They were stationed at the armory in town. I mean, the town of Branford was strange the last couple of days because of all the massive trucks, all the tree trucks and all the trucks from the power company. I mean, it was just strange to see it all in town, but I mean, they did a terrific job. All right, let's continue our trips driving around Branford. Stay with us. Okay, we're here on Featherbed Lane, and this road was closed, I believe, for about 2 days. There was a lot of trees, very thick trees, old trees, across the road here. And you can see a pine tree there where one of the big trunks was split off and has fallen down into this yard. There's a lot of wires still down here now. And over in the next yard, there's a wood chipper that's actually grinding up some of the wood. Also, the National Weather Service confirmed this was a tornado that touched down in New Haven County, an EF1 tornado, last Thursday at 4 o'clock. It moved through Hamden into North Haven at 110-mile-an-hour winds. It was on the ground for 11 miles. And then from North Haven, it came into Branford through 100-mile-an-hour microbursts, they call it. So this area was really hard hit. There was another report we received where the storm went up the Branford River, and I believe that there were a few microbursts that hit Branford and Guilford in the western part. Really a very devastating storm, much worse than Tropical Storm Isaiah. Stay with us. Okay, we're still here on Featherbed Lane. This was one of the hardest hit roads in Branford. Speaking with somebody that saw and heard the storm. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, I was home that afternoon, just finished up my last meeting of the day, and me and my wife saw the alerts going off on our phones telling us that there was, a tornado watch or warning. So I left my bedroom and I went into the garage thinking, because I was seeing lightning strikes, and I just wanted to check out the storm because I do amateur photography. And out of nowhere, everything just changed upon an instant, and I saw the tornado basically whip through my entire front yard, and all the trees were smashing together. Basically where we're standing, it was just a massive pile of all my trees above us, and that's when I knew that it was really serious, and I grabbed my family and we all ran in the basement, hoping the house wouldn't get destroyed.
Now, when you saw the storm, and was it a cone? What did you see?
I didn't see a cone that actually touched the ground. It was in the air. So when it came through, it was like so normal 1 second, and then out of nowhere it got incredibly dark, and I could see the water and the wind swirling around, and it hit these trees. And I don't know what direction it came from. I don't know if it came from here or there, but it wiped out the whole street. Probably minutes after it hit here, when we finally came out of the basement, I just watched down the street and saw the devastation.
Now, as far as this street, Featherbed Lane goes, it was closed for how long?
Oh, geez, at least a day and a half, 2 days. It was unbelievable. There was the UPS truck that got stuck at the end of Featherbed because a tree went down at the entrance to Route 1 and another tree went down maybe like a house down from here. So the UPS truck was stuck, and I'd be surprised. I mean, it's probably still there. I think the guy abandoned his truck after a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, the good thing is, as I look this way at your house, Mark, I see no damage, right?
Oh, yes, we were very fortunate. Yeah. Our house did not get any damage. We thought for sure. I mean, I heard branches hitting the top of it, so I thought something was going on. We were very pleased to see that it wasn't damaged, but we had so much debris where we're standing. The town had to come and remove. It was completely blocking one lane, and cars were in and out of here that night because they had nowhere to go. We counted about at least 50, 60 cars that could not get out of this neighborhood area because Gould Lane had a tree down, Damascus had a tree down, and here. So people were just circling the whole neighborhood stuck. And me and my wife were worried that there was going to be an accident out here because they couldn't go anywhere.
How about your power? When did you get your power back, Mark?
It took us about a day, the second day in the evening. So we got it back, I want to say, was it Friday? No, Saturday. Saturday evening we got it back, I believe.
Now, just across the street, the wood chipper's working. But also, as far as the wires, they seem awfully low.
Yeah, so what I think they did was they probably disconnected that section that was collapsed over here, and they ran a whole new wire. And I was also there Thursday evening when traffic was actually moving down Route 1, but a tractor trailer was crossing underneath it, and his whole entire tractor load got stuck underneath the transformer. Wow. So it was very low. The wires are dangerously low, and people were having problems with it left and right. It was very dangerous.
Now, speaking of a transformer, I heard that there was a fire at the Branford substation. Did you hear that?
Yes, I heard that as well. And also at some point Thursday evening, probably about an hour after the storm hit, we could hear explosions. So it's not that far from here, but we could hear the explosions going off, probably a street or two over or in that vicinity. So we knew that there was some major issues with the power system.
Yeah, and that's what happened. The whole town was out.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was crazy. It was like that hurricane, all the power of the hurricane compacted in like a 10-minute period.
Yeah, right, that's right.
It was insane.
Insane. It was great to speak with you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was nice to meet you.
You too, sir. All right. Okay, we're here at the Branford Public Works Department. As you can see, even here, there's a lot of trees that are down right on the front lawn and right here by the entrance to the Department of Public Works. They really did such a great job. All the crews from Department of Public Works, Branford Pollution Control, the Eversource, Branford Police Department, Branford Fire, Town Hall staff, all the independent contractors, they've all worked tirelessly to open roads, clear debris, and restore power as quickly as possible. The staff, which was all coordinated by the First Selectman, Jamie Cosgrove, did an outstanding job. As you remember, only back on August 4th, when Tropical Storm Isaiah hit, it was a long time to restore the power. But on this storm was different. All the power was restored quickly. Now, look at all these trees, all down. There must have been one huge burst of wind that just tore them all over. As you can see, they're lying on their side because the wind came from the direction of North Haven, which is to the northwest of here. Okay, we're driving down Mill Plain Road right now. You're seeing the damage on both sides of the road. We also have to thank all the dispatchers. From what I was told, they handled hundreds of calls during the storm. Here's a big tree that's been split. We see some more branches down. Here's some more wires that are way down, almost touching the ground. Oh, and in fact there's wires on the ground here. Also, there's a telephone pole that's been split, and I believe that there's a brand new one there now taking its place. I mean, can you think of the force of that storm to actually split a phone pole? Unbelievable. You can smell in the air the fragrance of, you know, leaves that have been tossed around. You can smell the pines and the maples. We're still cruising up Mill Plain Road towards Route 1. This part of town was badly damaged. 3 days later, as the cleanup continues, this part of the road looks pretty good. I don't see any damage here.
Some on the right, guys.
Okay, there was a tree that crossed the road here that's been cut, and it's placed in by the roadside now, out of the way. Now, at the time they had some speakers on the town hall steps on Friday, that's when a state of emergency in Brantford was declared by so on the steps we found First Selectman Jamie Cosgrove, U.S. Senator Blumenthal, and Ned Lamont, who's the Connecticut governor, and he declared it a state of emergency in Brantford on the 28th, on Friday. There isn't much up here so far. I'm sure we'll find some more damage though. Yeah, this all looks pretty clean. Tree that was ripped, you can see it. Here's more branches down. Here's some more. Yep. There was a lot of trees down on this road. That's why it was closed for 2 days. Boy, look at all that. And we're coming up now to Ridge Acres Road as we travel down Mill Plain Road. There's a tree over there at the corner that you're seeing now. Some more storm debris, branches. Here's a big trunk here on the right that's been cut. I'm sure that was across the road. We can see some of the yellow tape that was put up here before to close the road. Some more branches on the right. This whole stretch looks fine, undamaged.
On the left.
I have some coming up here now on the left. Yeah, there's some branches. Yeah, there's a tree down in that yard. Some branches broken. Not too bad though. Okay, we're here on Queech Road, right at the corner of Carriage Hill. You can see a lot of damage right here. A lot of storm went through here. A lot of trees are down. This is 3 days after the tornado, and you can see all the trees that have come down. They've obviously been working on the damage, clearing the roadside, and you know, it's coming along, but there's still quite a bit left to do. This storm really packed a lot of punches as it went through Brantford. It was the hardest hit town in the state. The entire town lost power Thursday about 4 o'clock. She said you can use it. Yeah, you can look at the top of the phone pole. Okay, this is our last stop here on Around the Town of Brantford with Henry and Frank. We're here on Mill Plain Road, right at the corner of Huntington Drive. And looking across the road, we can see, I believe there's 4 or 5 trees all got hit, all in the same cluster. They're all down. They were all split. Looks like the wind hit them about 20, 25 feet above the ground. And people are in there clearing up the wood that's down, cutting up the trunks. It was quite a storm. You know, Tuesday, August 4th, that's when we had Isaiah. And then Thursday, August 27th, about 2 weeks later, we get the horrible tornado. What was going on, right? People were just about finished cleaning up their yards after Isaiah, and so now they're hit again with the tornado. So hopefully there won't be any more bad storms in Brantford now for quite some time. That would be great. It's been great to cover this for you today. We've enjoyed being on the road in Brantford, and we'll be back again soon. So until next time, I'm Frank Tuhill for Henry Pond. Take care, and we'll see you again soon on Around the Town of Brantford with Henry and Frank.